Hi lovelies, you're welcome to my YouTube channel, and this is Talk with Ama. If you want your life to be better, then there are certain things you ought to have been doing by now. Yes guys, 2022 is about coming to an end, and I believe some of us already had dreams and goals and things we wanted to achieve this year. And believe you me, it's never too late. There are important things that you ought to be doing by now. But you know what they say? It is better to start early. I'm going to start with the last as first, and then we count till we get to number one. And the number fourth one I would say is have the right circle. You see, a lot of us make this mistake to think that we must necessarily remain in one circle from the start of our life to the finishing of our life. Life is in stages. As you evolve, as you grow, as you go through different phases and experiences in life, that is how the people in your life would always change. Not because they are bad, not because they did anything wrong to you, no. But you see, as you go through life, there are certain people that God has already destined that would feature in that phase you are in. Audit your circle. So many of us are so stuck with the people we have in our lives. So when life is even trying to push us to the next phase of our lives, we're still holding on to old friends. We're still holding on to old people who are not relevant in the current state we are in. So the fourth thing you should do as a youth and as someone who is really serious in catching up with the pace and catching up with times is audit your circle. Ensure that the circle you're in, the circle of friends, your circle of people you hear, people who own your ear time, people you listen to, and people who listen to you are people who are in line with where you are and also where you are going to. Never be scared of losing people. Never be scared of meeting new people. Never be scared of adjusting to new people. Never be scared of, evolving. You are the most important player in the scene, your own life. You're the most important person. So whosoever you need to get to the next level, ensure you do so. Whosoever you need to get rid of them. Leave out toxic people. Leave out people who do not add value to your life. Leave out people who never bring good news. Leave out people who wish you bad. Leave out people who know about opportunities and would never share such opportunity with you. Leave out people who don't talk about where you're going to. Always keep auditing your life so you don't remain in a rut. Another thing you should do, which is the third one, is begin to read books. My God, people of my generation, did they swear for us and swear that we should not read books? Begin to read. You know what they used to tell us in primary school those days? Readers are leaders. Why should you even read? You're reading to know the experiences of people who have gone ahead of you. You are just starting. You're just a youngster. You haven't been experienced in a certain field. Read books. They say the way to get ahead is to start reading. Read about people in that aspect of your life, that sector, that area of your life where you're seeking improvement. Read books. The youths of my generation, read books. Where you are today is a cumulative reflection of the knowledge you have, and the knowledge you have is a sum total of the books you have read and the exposure and the learnings and the people you've heard. Read books. Seeth a man who reads his books, you will find him amongst kings. When you read, you will so find your way to the top, because not only would you be enlightened, you would avoid certain mistakes. You would see through the eyes of people who have gone through certain things you are going through, or of people who have, people who have who have conquered certain challenges, and you will know how to do better. You know what they say, if you know how to do better, then you will do better. If you know how to, then you will do better. But if you don't know, how do you want to do better? Read books. Readers are leaders. That's the third thing you should have started doing now. Read books. Read books. Read books. It is no excuse whether you went to school or not, whether ASUU is on strike or not, whether the government, see, there are certain things that are not even the government's responsibility. Yeah, I can say that. There are certain things that are not even the responsibility of ASUU. There are certain things that are your own responsibility, and you must take responsibility. And one of it is reading. Read. Even the Bible said, study to show thyself approved. Read books. Some of us will say we don't have time, but we have time, struggling with problems we don't even know how to solve. So why not read? If you have issues with finance, start reading books in finance. If you have issues with parenting, start reading books in parenting. If you have issues in relationship, start reading. You are reading from people who also had that same challenge that you are facing, and they have gone through it and they succeeded, and they came back to document the steps, the processes, the things they had to do to surmount that issue. So who walks in darkness? I mean, it's only a crazy person who has the option of using a lamp but chooses to walk in the dark. When you walk in the dark, what happens? Accident, chaos, you hit your foot, you fall on the ground, you somersault. But when you use a lamp, which is enlightenment, which is reading, which opens up your memory, which makes you see certain things, and which brings solution, then the journey will be easy. So number 2, begin to make impact. The best time to start is now. Begin to make impact. Some of you, especially this my generation of at most 18 to 29, all we do is to live for ourselves. In fact, even to live for yourself, you're not even living for yourself well. Now you're not living for yourself well, because you still make mistakes that should be avoided. I mean, you go to the social media, you go on different platforms, you see so many crazy things. Make impact. Start now. Begin to make impact. Have you ever wondered if you feel you're too young to make an impact? Don't you think you're not, if you feel you're too young to make an impact, do you think you're not young to die? Yeah, I think that question rhymes. Do you think you're not young to die? Make an impact. Let me tell you, what you don't start early will become a problem when you get old. How do you make an impact? Go out and volunteer. 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 You can volunteer in your church. You can volunteer in any NGO, any local association in your neighborhood, in your village, anywhere. Volunteer. The world can never shut its door against free service. But you know the funny thing? It is not free. People think that when you volunteer, it's free. It is not free. Guess who is earning more? It is you who is volunteering. Because when you volunteer, you are learning. When you volunteer, you're getting better. When you volunteer, you're growing, you're making an impact, and you're sowing seed. Think of it. If we are to organize a funeral for you, who do you think will come for your burial? And what do you think people will say about you? Begin to live for others. I'm not saying you should lose yourself in the process of living for others. No, I'm not in support of that. But you know what I'm trying to say now? Volunteer. Some of us is school, church, send money to daddy and mommy. What else? That's all. Then goof around. You know, we while away time, and you think there's time. There's no time. What you call time is your moment you're wasting. Begin to live for others. Volunteer. Volunteer. It doesn't have to be your family member. Send a child to school if you can. Those clothes in your closet that you know you will never wear them in the next 6 months, iron them, wash them, iron them, give it to someone. Make someone smile. Make someone smile. Yes, give it out to someone. Buy food. Give some. Let someone feed in a day because of you. tip someone, give someone that shoe, live for people. From that your salary, from that your business, you can just put 1,000 naira or 500 naira in your envelope and randomly bless a person who needs it. Now these days, people volunteer, people help and have to put it on social media. You forget that there is a Father in heaven who sees everything. I don't mean lose yourself for people. Living for people is different from losing yourself for people. Start to show acts of service. Help someone. When someone's thing fall on the ground, even as small as you will see someone with too many load on the head, some people will just waka and pass. Sorry. Oh, let me help you open the door. Oh, sorry, this fell on the ground. Oh, thank you. Please begin to act like you live in a space called humanity. I bet you, if you can do all these things, your life, you begin to see results. Okay, the number one thing which is very important is to discover God. Discover God. If you are a youth hearing this, discover God. It goes beyond going to church. It goes beyond you know, being close to religious or, you know, in quotes, church people, or being the daughter of a pastor or the son of a pastor or the wife of a deacon. No, discover God for yourself. Have an experiential knowledge of who God is. See, everything they teach you in church is theory. Just like we all went to the university, or some of you are still in the university anyways, and you're asked to buy textbooks, you're asked to read, and you sit for an exam, right? Those are theory. Have you discovered that everything you were taught in school most likely is not even what you experience in the favor markets? It's not what you experience when you get a job. So that's how it is with God. Going to church is not enough. Discover God. Have an experiential knowledge of Him. Experience God. God is a personality. He is a being. Experiencing. If I come to your house to talk to you, if I come to your house to give you something, you can say, oh, Talk with Amma came to my house, right? Because you can see, you've experienced my voice, you've experienced my attitude, the way I walk, probably how I dress and how I look to your house. So why don't we do that to God? God loves us, and He is very interested in you and I as a youth. Get it right with God. I discovered something. Yes, in as much as religion is really killing the fun of being in Christ, but discovering God doesn't stop you from living life or going through your life or going through your processes as a youth. I think that's one misconception some people have. Discovering God doesn't stop you from being a youth. Brethren, guys, ladies and gentlemen, discover God. If you don't discover God, we live in a chaotic world. We live in the last days. If you don't discover God for yourself, people will tell you who they think God is. Who they think God is. And they are going to dictate to you how you should serve your God. And I hope you know that perilous times are everywhere. I mean, you see what is happening in the economy. You see what is happening everywhere. It doesn't matter if you're rich or you're poor, or you're the daughter of who, or you're the daughter of whatnot. Discover God. Because only what you know will you be able to pass on to your children. Only what you know will you be able to pass on to your next generation. Discover God. The God you discover is the God you will talk to or talk about to the next person or to the next generation. Discover God, so you begin to have a relationship with Him and begin to carve out your own path with Him. Everyone is responsible for him or herself. Life na per head, like they always say. Life na per head though. Start to get it right. These are the 4 important things that you should have started doing now today, now. In fact, as you listen to this video, you should get on track. If you've been doing it and you stop, then get back to it. If you have not started, start now. And I really hope that when you consistently do these things and when you diligently do them, your life will spin around. Your life will spin around for good. Thank you so much for your time.